Okay then, here I've got a selection of Polyend's new effects pedals. There's the MESS, which they call a multi-effect step sequencer, which is a perfect description of what it does. Then there's the Step, which is a drum machine or a beats machine because it's got more than just drum tones in it. And finally, we've got the Press that we're listening to here, which is a true stereo analog VCA compressor pedal or desktop unit. And that's what's interesting about these, because although they're foot pedals, they work just as well on the desk. You wouldn't catch me stamping on one of my MoogerFoogers, and these are so nice looking, I'd be reluctant to stamp on these as well, but they have been made nice and rugged. The case is sexy brushed aluminium, the buttons feel heavy duty, so they're designed to take the punishment a guitar pedal might need, but not restricted to guitars, and you have the selection of instrument or line level on all of them, so they all work with the guitars and your studio kit, so you can plug a synth or sampler directly into any of them, which is lucky for me because that's what I'm going to be doing. I thought I'd start by taking a look at the Press. It's the simplest one to check out. It's a VCA compressor, which are used for their transparency. It's what you get in the SSL bus compressors because they're fast and they're precise. And I'm using it for similar gluing duties in this demo. But this has got a couple of extra tricks up its sleeve, like a sidechain input and a sidechain high pass and low pass filter to filter out the frequencies you don't want it to listen to in the sidechain signal. But with nothing plugged into the sidechain input, they work on the input signal instead. And we've got a mix knob for that New York compression trick. Hammer the compressor, then blend in the original signal. And just to show you quickly what was happening there, the Step is playing stereo into the stereo input of the compressor. We've got nothing on the sidechain input, and that's the stereo out. So if we play, turn that off for now. Let's just really hammer this so you can hear it happening. There you go, loads of mad compression. So using the New York style dry wet mix, have something really battering that compressor. That's nice with those little hats coming through. Interesting. And bring some dry in. Changing the groove slightly. It's probably not the best beat to be changing a groove on, but yeah. When it fully wet, let's turn this down a bit. Let's make it a bit more sensible, shall we? It's nice. Quickly, we've got a little tilt EQ. Comes in very handy. Put a little bit of sparkle, I find. But it is giving us that sort of SSL style glue, isn't it? And then we've got the sidechain here, and we're not using the sidechain input at the minute. This is the external sidechain in or out. When we don't have the external sidechain in, we're not listening to any sidechain. At the minute though, when this is out, we're now listening to the main signal coming through the high pass and low pass filters. So if I put the high pass in, we're going to lose most of the signal. So if I turn that up, you can see the compression's getting less. And that's because we've basically just got tiny little hi-hats and stuff going through the compression signal. So it's not just compressing the hi-hats, it's what the compressor's listening to. Turn this down, it's not going to listen to the hi-hats at all. We're just listening to the kick there, and you can hear it's changed the groove. And if you look at the lights, you can see that It's not just making more compression, it's actually bouncing around slightly differently. But normally you probably leave these open if you've not got the sidechain in there. Nice, sensible SSL style glue. Trying to get the makeup gain about right. So really aggressive stuff. Pretty aggressive. Dial that down. And if you don't know your way around a compressor, not to worry, they've got you covered with these excellent little cards, giving you some starting points. Yeah, so it's a really nice, flexible little stereo analog compressor. You can do really slamming things with it, or just give stuff a nice bit of glue. And it sounds really nice with that step going through it. So that really brings me over to the step. Sticking with what we were playing there, we've got 4 tracks. We've got a little piano sound. We've got the bass. We've got a snare. And we've got a kick. You might have noticed you can hear a little hi-hat in there as well. And if we look at the snare track, we haven't just got on the beat snares, we've got little extra things. If I hit one of those extras and we go into the effect and we go into the note, we're playing a G sharp 5 there, a G sharp 5 there, and a C4 there. In other words, hi-hat, snare. So those hi-hats are just highly pitched snares, which brings me to the step parameter changes, or the parameter locks. So if we come into the effects on each of them, we've got note, volume, reverb, delay, panning. Well, I won't say them all out loud. But yeah, so note. So if we come into this note here, it's a G sharp 5, G sharp 5, then the C4. So that's the snare hit. That's an offbeat hat. That's an offbeat hat. So if we play it, add another snare. Let's pitch that down. Let's maybe make that a little bit louder. So hit effect, go to the volume. And then maybe filter that down a bit. Let's change the timing on it. So got micro tune. Where's the micro timing? Micro move. There we go. Adding a bit of swing in there. Flam. Just being lazy. So although we've only got 4 tracks, we can actually do an awful lot with it. Track mode and go to the main menu, just hit whatever track's lit up at the minute. You can see we're on song 5, which is house, or da house. Let's change the song. We've got a few in here already. Let's I'm just looking for one that maybe I put in a new demo. Here we go, that'll be me. Yeah, really imaginative names. Just going for a completely different vibe with that one, but you can hear that those congas are pitched. And you can hear those hi-hats there. I've got a little bit of sloppy timing on them. We'll go to another song. Let's just load one of the presets. So in each of the songs, we've got 16 patterns, or you can have up to 16 patterns. With the next pattern using the next pattern button. So you can set it up to play a song. And then we've got this effect here, and you notice that it says falling, and we've got different effects we can put on each of the rhythms. So if we just play that one again. Let's try robot. If you just hit it, it stays on. Fifth up, octave up. Filter. That's the low pass, the high pass. So there's nice little things you can do with the live playing. I've not showed you the sounds in here yet. If we hit kit, we've got all the different kits. Hit it again to toggle from the actual kit to the style of kit on the left. So select the style, and under each style we've got a number of kits. Let's just try 8081, shall we? I don't know what this is going to sound like. What's a big beat? And if you're in one of the track modes, you can change the sound of the individual track. So if we come into this again and give that a 909 kick, for example. So while we're in this, come here, we'll go to, that's an 808, sorry. 909 kick. But all the other sounds are staying with the original kit, so you can change the kit, or you can change on a per track basis. And on each of those tracks, you can then put parameter locks on. You can't change the tone in a parameter lock, but you can do all those other things I showed. So as a quick run through the step, then I think I've showed most things there. Maybe just to show you the menus for whole song. We've got different MIDI settings. So if we go into those, clock in, clock out, so you can send that to the jack, for example, which I've been doing to sync it up to all the other bits I've got here. I've just been using these TRS jacks for MIDI sync. You don't need a converter if you're putting into something else that's a TRS jack. And these are just from old computer monitors that I've got lying around. Very handy, actually. I've not showed you the master's effects yet either. So in the master effects, we've got a reverb, delay, we've got a limiter, we've got saturation, and these can be set per tone and parameter locked as well. Let's go back to the house, because I know what's going to happen. And we'll stick a reverb on the snares, shall we? So let's go to reverb, okay. It's only appearing on that one, not on the others. And in fact, on this bass, this is only playing 2 steps a bar. If we come into these, go to the effect. On these, I've increased that low pass on every other beat. You can hear it's brighter and it's got a delay on it. High, so let's knock those down, for example. The others are low, aren't they? This is just a preset I've been playing around with, and I've added delay on these as well. So if we come into there, got 61% delay on that one, and then none on the others, and then every 4th one I've got some delay on it. Oh, and I'll turn them off. And you can set up the reverb and delay and the saturation in the main menu. So we come into here, song, master effects, reverb and delay. We've got different settings we can put in there. These are all presets, but we can go and create custom settings. I skipped over the track parameters earlier, but it's worth going into them in a little bit more detail, actually, because they really do pull out what you can do with this thing. So each of the tracks, let's go to 4. That's the piano thing. We've got a track volume. So you kind of just the volume of the whole track. We've got track swing, so you don't have to go in and micro time every single step like I was doing earlier. And track speed, it's playing at 1/8 speed at the minute. Make it slower. That's now playing out on 16ths, isn't it? So. Also got track length, it doesn't have to be 16. Stop it and start it again because it's all over the place now. And you got the micro move. Then we've got these actions. Let's stop that for a second. So we've got chance, different chances, and then we've got options to play 1, skip 1, play 1, skip 2. Let's turn that down for now. So different options in there, and then we've got different options on what happens with that chance. So it's either play step, random, no, or all these. And then we've got repeat types. So let's put the repeat on, let's turn it up again. Let's do this on the snare. So if we go to the repeat type, just a straight repeat, fades. So you don't have to use up all your steps to do something interesting. That's a nice one, glitter. So loads of stuff, and then the grid for that to happen on. Sample fade in and fade out, and then micro tune as well. Sample start and end. Overdrive, so overdrive is per step. Bit depth. That's cool. Then with filter, we saw the filter earlier. Let's pan these. And then the delay, the reverb and the volume and the note number. But yeah, loads of little things to play with in that. So it's really much more complex than just a simple 16-step sequencer. I did get this out to do like a little sort of comparison with two sort of little handy drum machines, almost basically both designed to be an accompaniment really. But this just blew it away too much, didn't make any sense. This has just got like, you know, 4 tones and that's it. So as a plan, this didn't really work. Anyway, let's take a look at the MESS now. And this looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? It's almost, well, it is the same box, I suppose, as the step, and we put similar things on it. We've got 16-step sequencer, and we've got 4 tracks. And what I've not mentioned actually yet is how nice these screens are. It really does make it feel like a nice quality pro bit of kit, having a nice screen. It's very basic. It's a 4-part multi-effects unit. You can have them in series, you can have them all in parallel, or you can have dual series stroke parallel. And in there, we've got an awful lot of effects. If we just come into track 1 on here, and we go through the number of effects we've got, I think it's 74 effects in total. Different types of delays, reverbs, micro looper, spectralizer, pitch shifter, filter, shaper, so that's sort of distortion effects and bit crushing, panning. And did I miss one out at the end there? Yeah, the sampler, the particle sampler, so the granular stuff, granular burst, and things like tape modulation. And it comes with a super handy little leaflet giving you information on what they all do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 styles, and then in those styles you've got subcategories. So modulation, as I said, you've got chorus, you've got stereo chorus, flanger, phaser, tape modulation. On the granular, you've got portrait, fragment, blur, and burst. On the shaper, we've got saturator, overdrive, diode, clipper, wave shapers, fuzz, exciter. Filters, we've got high pass, low pass, band pass, low shelf, high shelf, formant, and equalizer. And the micro loop is nice as well, so you can slice things and you switch the stereo, change the pitch. So you've got a selection of 4 of those effects, and then you've got the sequencer on top. So there's your 16 steps for the sequencer, but let's turn it on without the sequencer for now. So you can hear there's phasing and stuff happening, but we haven't got the sequencer on. We play the sequencer. And you can see when each of those are playing, and you can hear that they're playing in different times. You can see number 1's flickering really fast. If you come to 1, the rate on that is sequence speed 3, so it's 3 times the clock input, or the tempo it's set to. You can have a clock input. I've normally got the clock input coming from the step. That's what this is here, as I showed earlier. If we go to the next track, drilling slower, that's at half speed. This is at 1.5 speed, is that 302, and then the same with that as well. And then where you see a light, so the pink lights, for example, or the blue lights, or the pink again, or the red ones, so those lights will change color depending on what effect you're using. Let's change that effect, shall we? Oh, where are we? Settings. Oh, second page. We change that. The colour of that will change as well, which is quite a nice effect. But just like a drum machine, when you see one of the steps lit, the effect's on. Let's just slow that down. That's just adding a chorus where we've got those little pink lights. But maybe let's start off with an initial patch so we can see what's happening. So starting off with absolutely nothing, let's go to track 1, let's put something obvious on there. Let's do something like an overdrive or a fuzz or a bit crusher, bit reduction. Let's try that amount 3, and let's put it onto those 2 steps there. Let's play it, turn it on. So we're doing things already, aren't we? Sounds quite cool. Want to extend that, we'll just extend it across a few steps. Then on 2, maybe let's put, I don't know, let's put a delay or something like that on. Analog delay, let's try that. Streets. That's quite nice, isn't it, already? 3, let's stick on, what have we got in here? Let's go for one of these. Where are they? I've gone whizzing past them. A little micro looper. Let's try that, and let's put that on, I don't know, 5 and 13, something like that, is that? And let's change the pitch on this one. Let's knock it up 7 semitones. And let's just extend that a little bit. Put some slope on it. Let's come back into that and just make that a bit shorter. So you can hear that's sliced here, and change the semitone on them. Make that faster or slower. It would help if I held the step I wanted it to happen on. Then let's stick a reverb on the end. Reverb. Let's look for a big one, shall we? Oh, it doesn't really matter. Let's go for metallics. What's the ability to speak? That's cool. Let's maybe slow the reverb down, sequence speed half. Or speed it up. Make it shorter. Bit different in it. That's great, that is. So in a nutshell, that's what it does. And it's so easy to find really nice things, that as you just saw there. And that was literally me doing that on the fly. I've not practiced that in any way. But there's loads of nice presets in there as well. But I found starting off from scratch and doing something like that just always brings out something really, really nice. I'm thinking if there's anything else I should show you in here as well, in the settings. So let's come out of here. Let's go into the settings. LED brightness, firmware, MIDI settings, preset routing, so you can have series, dual parallel, or parallel. And when we come out of this, let's put it into dual parallel, exit, and you can see there indicated we've got 2 linked. That's linked and that's linked. And if we come back into the settings and change that to the preset routing again, let's put them all in parallel, exit, you can see they're all distinct and separate. Preset routing series, we should have little arrows between them. There we go. Yeah, so in the settings, you can do everything you might expect. So I think that brings me to the end of my Polyend pedals demo. They are really nice things. I first came across them in Superbooth. They were playing with them in their booth, and I started having a little play around with them, and they were really good fun, which is why I did ask them to send them over so I could play with them some more, and I would be playing with them a lot more. I really do like this mess is great. It sort of reminds me a little bit of the microcosm in that it takes a sound and does all sorts of things with it. But unlike the microcosm that's got distinct algorithms that are fixed, in this you can create your own little algorithms. They probably won't like me saying it sounds like, because it doesn't sound like the microcosm, but I'm just trying to think what I've got that it reminds me of. And it's that, but this is much, much, much more controllable. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was of some use to somebody somewhere. If it was, please do subscribe, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon. Do all those things that help support the channel. Mainly give me loads of cash. That'll just do. Anyway, thanks for staying to the very end, and I'll see you next time.